subscribe.
Growing up, I had constantly heard visual art teachers express their disdain for the American painter and art instructor, TV personality, Bob Ross.
People like these kind of paintings. These are the type of paintings I do for special friends and as gifts for Christmas and birthdays and weddings and all kinds of things like that.
Many of the art instructors or teachers' complaints were similar and centered around the arguments that Ross was not a real painter, he used tricks to paint, and all he knew how to paint were boring landscapes. Even online, there are some interesting debates concerning the validity of Bob Ross's style of painting.
For Bob Ross, I am arguing against Bob Ross. I also discovered that there are these Bob Ross classes now. As an art educator, I find the idea of these workshops not cool because you're basically telling everybody, here, let's all paint the same painting and we all end up with the same thing. That is not art.
But to clear the air, Ross himself succinctly shares the purpose of his painting style.
Say out loud, your work will never hang in a museum.
No.
Bob!
Well, maybe it will, but probably not the Smithsonian.
Because why, Bob? What's the deal here? What are you telling us?
Well, I'm trying to teach people a form of art that anybody can do. This is art for anyone who's ever wanted to put a dream on canvas. It's not traditional art, it's not fine art, and I don't try to tell anybody it is.
Now, for the purpose of this video, the topic centering on the painter Bob Ross and the tween and teen psychiatric patients that I work with daily, many patients have reported to me that they love painters such as Vincent van Gogh, Jean-Michel Basquiat, and Frida Kahlo, and some others. But Bob Ross is the one painter that, as they report, really love the best due to Ross encouraging the viewer to paint their own happy little world or inspiring the viewer with joy and without judgment.
You're the creator. Anything that you want, you can build here. This is your world. I think sometimes we work too hard at painting. Painting should always be fun. It should make you happy. That's when you're truly an artist. When you're at home, don't worry about following exactly what we have here. Let things happen and use what happens and create your own masterpieces. This is your world and you can create anything that you want in it.
Because the love and compassion that Ross expresses for his viewers, my patients find the joy of painting broadcast to be a safe place when times are really bad and an escape into Ross's landscapes where there is serenity and calm.
Now, if I was in a place like this, I'd want to build a little cabin out here. So let's have some fun today and build us a happy little cabin.
Moreover, the tween and teen patients that are fans of ASMR, or autonomous sensory meridian response, where there is a static feeling or tingling sensation beginning on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and down the spine, commonly triggered by specific auditory or visual stimuli, report that Bob Ross triggers an ASMR experience that is a sensation of healing.
I'm gonna go right into a touch of phthalo blue. And I hope you've enjoyed this painting.
In addition, and very important for my creative art psychotherapy sessions, the patients report that Ross also acknowledges that bad and hard times are part of life.
If you have light on light, you have nothing. If you have dark on dark, you basically have nothing. You know, it's like in life. You gotta have a little sadness once in a while so you know when the good times come. I'm waiting on the good times now.
And to let bad feelings be part of the paintings.
Sometimes when you're not in such a good mood, paintings have a tendency to get a little darker. Because paintings reflect your mood. Sometimes you're not even conscious of it, it happens.
Here, because the patients are viewing the joy of painting frequently and being encouraged by Ross, I speculate that in my therapy sessions with them, chiefly when using visual art materials, possibly Ross is in the back of their mind saying, take a creative risk, take a chance, and enjoy the happy accidents.
So don't be afraid to experiment and put in all kinds of weird ones. I think probably nothing will teach you more than just experimenting. Do as many different things as you have the nerve to do. Shoo, just go for it. There. Sometimes you learn more from mistakes than you do from trying so hard. So anytime you make a mistake, before you get upset with it, look at it. Sometimes those mistakes turn into be the best learning devices we have. And I think if there's a secret to human nature, it's the fact that we aren't satisfied. We're never satisfied. I hope you're absolutely plagued with dissatisfaction through your whole life. Because if you are, you'll always strive to do better.
Encouraging the tween and teen patients to use the drawing or painting materials to express unspoken thoughts, emotions, and feeling states. As an interesting side note, and one that is very telling of the diversity of interests that imbues the youth of today, a few years back, for about 2.5 months, there were different groups of tween and teen patients admitted to my unit, didn't know each other, but strangely were all interested in and fascinated by Hawaiian shirts, video game music, mullet haircuts, the dance, the Charleston, and Bob Ross. And to hear from the patients how all of these worlds mesh together in their day-to-day life, creating an interesting and unpredictable culture, something that I could have not have imagined, was extremely interesting for me, and I'm sure Ross would have been pleased and fascinated by this too.
One of my little friends here, I've got several letters since I've shown these in the previous shows, asking how in the world you go about feeding a little squirrel. Well, it's a very delicate operation. Diana has worked with me for a long time. Diana is the bird lady here in Muncie who loaned me this little rascal. And this is how hard it is to get a little squirrel to eat. That's all there is to it.
Hey, look at him go! The 20! Wes, he might do it! Wes, he's gonna do it! Oh my goodness, buddy, do it! Do it! Do it! Touchdown! Oh, man, he's my favorite squirrel. Look at him. Oh, poor guy. He's tired. That's not a very good celebration. He doesn't work on his celebration.
Worn out.